No, I just need to find my talk on here. Thank you for your patience with my fumbling. It's wonderful to see you all here. It always makes me happy. It would be so terrible if I had to sit here and talk to myself. Tonight, we are continuing our ongoing 2024 Dōgen series. If you're interested, please look up Dōgen. If you don't know who he is, he was the first teacher in Japan teaching Soto Zen Buddhism. But tonight I would like to talk about one specific essay of his that was titled Valley Sounds, Mountain Colors. And we've had an ongoing reading Dōgen group since 2020, April 2020. And I had a note in this fascicle that we were reading it on the 21st of December. We were reading that, and I was going like, wow, so much time has passed. And now we're on page 380 something. So there are always essays or fascicles that speak to us more, that address parts of practice we really enjoy or that we cannot really access. And this was one of the talks I really liked. Keisei Sonshoku, Valley Sounds, Mountain Colors. And what I discovered preparing for this talk was that there are pretty much two very distinct sections in this essay. In the first section, this essay points us towards the inseparability of practice and realization, the inseparability of humans and nature, and the inseparability of self and other. And like some other texts, like the Mountains and Waters Sutra, the first part is very nature-oriented. In Keisei Sanshoku, Dōgen invites us to perceive the natural world, the sound of valleys, the colors or shapes of mountains, not merely as elements of our surrounding scenery, but as expressions of awakening and awakened nature itself. The second section of the essay is more prosaic and addresses ethical matters. Dōgen warns against the attitude of gaining mind. He speaks out against clerics who seek profit through Buddhism, and he calls on us to repent our own transgressions and to lean on Buddhas and Bodhisattvas so we can find the right attitude going forward. Dōgen also warns against striving for a dramatic awakening experience, emphasizing that enlightenment is present in the ordinary. By deeply engaging with the sounds and sights around us, we can recognize the living Dharma in everyday life. This perspective dissolves the boundaries between subject and object, reminding us that awakening is not a distant goal, but the essence of reality, accessible in every moment of attentive practice. With that in mind, let us dive into this teaching and consider how it can transform the way we experience our lives. Dōgen's Keisei Sonshoku, Valley Sounds, Mountain Colors, teaches that the natural world, its sounds and colors, embodies awakening itself. He invites practitioners to transcend the duality of self and world, seeing the interconnectedness of all things. How can we understand that the valley streams and mountain colors are not symbols? How can we experience them as direct manifestations of Buddha nature, as the Dharma of the manifested Buddha body, as the Buddha himself? The first poem. One night when layman Dongpo visited Mount Lu, he was enlightened by the sound of the valley stream. He composed a poem which he presented to his teacher Shangzong. Shangzong approved his understanding. Here is the poem. Valley sounds are the long, broad tongue. Mountain colors are no other than the unconditioned body. 84,000 verses I heard through the night. What can I say about this in the future? So this is from the Tanahashi translation, which is this book. However, I found that I related more to the Sotoshu translation. The sound of the stream is his long, broad tongue. The mountain form, his immaculate body. This evening's 84,000 gathas, how will I tell them tomorrow? The sound of the stream is his long, broad tongue. The mountain form, his immaculate body. This evening's 84,000 gathas, how will I tell them tomorrow? Now, Dōgen draws from the poetry of Sudungpo. Again, the sound of the valley stream is the Buddha's long, broad tongue. The colors of the mountains are none other than the pure body of Buddha. This poetic statement encapsulates the central theme of the fascicle. That awakening is not separate from the world that surrounds us. It is not separate from the natural world. Rather, the world itself is an ongoing manifestation of Dharma. And for Dōgen, this is not a metaphor. The sounds and colors are not merely symbols of the Buddha's teachings. They are the teachings. To grasp this is to enter into a deeply non-dual perspective, one where the boundary between self and world dissolves, revealing the world as it truly is. At the same time, Dōgen warns practitioners not to become fixated on the idea of a sudden breakthrough in awakening. He reminds us that searching for a dramatic experience of enlightenment will and can obscure the subtle yet profound truth that awakening is already present in the ordinary sounds and sights of daily life. By clinging to certain expectations of a grand realization, we risk overlooking the living Dharma that surrounds us at every moment. Dōgen often emphasizes, I'm sorry, Dōgen often emphasizes that practice itself is awakening. Practice awakening with a dash in the middle as one expression, one word. The act of actively listening to the valley stream or seeing the colors of the mountains is no less significant than any mystical insight. When we fully engage in each moment without striving for something beyond it, we align ourselves with the flow of Dharma. Let's begin with the sound of the valley streams. When you hear the gurgling water over rocks, what do you notice? Perhaps you hear rhythm, movement, or depth. But Dōgen asks us to go beyond these initial perceptions. He invites us to listen with our whole being, to realize that the sound is not separate from ourselves. In a moment of true listening, the sense of I am here listening to that falls away. Instead, there is just the sound itself, vivid and immediate. In this way, the sound of the stream becomes a direct encounter with the Buddha's teachings. It can teach us impermanence. The ceaseless flow of water mirrors the ceaseless flow of life. It teaches us interconnection. The stream exists because of earth, rain, gravity, causes and conditions, so many factors. To truly hear the valley sounds is to enter into the Dharma, to hear the stream as the teaching itself, as reality itself. It's interesting, Tanahashi translates it as mountain colors. Other translators have translated as mountain shape or mountain form. So let us turn ourselves towards the mountains. Dōgen describes them as the Buddha's pure body. What does that even mean? Perhaps you have stood in awe of a mountain range, its peaks glowing in the light at dawn or in an orange brilliance at sunset. These colors evoke something beyond words, a sense of vastness, stillness, of presence. This beauty is not separate from Buddha nature. The colors of the mountains embody the purity and completeness of awakening. They remind us that enlightenment is not an abstract state to be attained at some time in the far future, but it is the very fabric of reality itself, right here, right now, things just as they are. When we look again at the mountain with this understanding, the mountain ceases to be a mere object of beauty. They become teachers, those mountains, showing us the boundless, luminous nature of existence. In the quiet solidity of the mountains, we find a mirror reflecting our own true nature, fully alive, always changing, yet unmoving. Now to the second poem, Xiang Yan's poem. Xiang Yan practiced in the assembly of Guishan Lingyu on Mount Gui. One day, Guishan said to Xiang Yan, "You are bright and knowledgeable. Say something about yourself before your father and mother were born, but don't use the words learned from commentaries." It should be added that Xiang Yan was a great scholar. He had studied many, many books, but he could not respond. So he did what all these scholars do when they encounter a true master. He goes ahead and burns all his books. And he said, "The painting of a rice cake does not satisfy hunger. I will just be a cooking monk, not expecting to understand Buddha Dharma in this lifetime." And that's what he did. For many years, he was a cooking monk, serving the other monks in the monastery. After years, he goes back to Guishan and he says, "My mind is undifferentiated. I cannot speak. Can you speak for me, master?" Guishan replied, "I wouldn't mind explaining it to you, but if I did, you would resent me in the future." Sometime after this exchange, Xiang Yan moved into the mountains. He planted some bamboo for company. One day, sweeping the path, a pebble he swept away struck the bamboo with a sharp sound. Xiang Yan gained understanding. He returned to Guishan and presented his poem. One stroke dissolves knowledge. Struggle no longer needed. I will follow the ancient path, not lapsing into quietude. Noble conduct beyond sound and form, no trace anywhere. Those who have mastered the way may call this unsurpassable activity. Gushan approved. Xiang Yan said, "Master, if you had spoken for me at that time, this could not have happened." Third poem. Ling Yun had been practicing for 30 years. One day in spring, he walked into the mountains. Crossing a mountain, he saw in the distance a village with many peach trees in full bloom, and he was awakened. He presented the following poem to his teacher Guishan. "For 30 years, I have looked for a sword master. Many leaves fell, new ones sprouted. One glimpse of peach blossoms, now no more doubts, just this. For 30 years, I have looked for a sword master. Many leaves fell, new ones sprouted. One glimpse of peach blossoms, now no more doubts, just this." So I'm going to read you a little bit more from this fascicle. Langye Weijue, great master Guangzhou, was a Dharma descendant of Nanwei. Once Shi Zhuan, a lecturer on scriptures, asked Langye, if originally unconditioned, how do mountains, rivers, and the great earth suddenly emerge? Langye responded, if originally unconditioned, how do mountains, rivers, and the great earth suddenly emerge? Well, we know mountains, rivers, and the great earth, which are originally unconditioned, should not be mistaken for mountains, rivers, and great earth. The Sutra master had never heard this, so he did not understand mountains, rivers, and the great earth as just mountains, rivers, and the great earth. Know that without mountain colors and valley sounds, Shakyamuni Buddha's taking up the flower and Hueke's attaining the marrow would not have taken place. Because of the power of valley sounds and mountain colors, the Buddha with the great earth and sentient beings simultaneously attain the way, and countless Buddhas become enlightened upon seeing the morning star. Such skin bags are earlier sages whose aspiration for seeking Dharma is profound. People today should be inspired by predecessors like these. Authentic study free of concern for fame and gain should be based on such aspiration. So now I would like to talk a little bit about our practice in real life when we don't cross the mountain and see the peach blossoms, but we're washing dishes and going about our daily routine. How can we bring these teachings of Keisei Sanshoku into our daily lives? Dōgen's invitation is simple yet profound. Pay attention. The valley sounds and mountain colors are always present, but we often overlook them in our rush to accomplish tasks or solve problems. Or maybe because we are looking for the really, really extraordinary super colors. We're sure they exist somewhere. So it can help if we take some time each day to pause and truly listen to the sounds around you. It might be the hum of traffic, the chirping of birds, or even the sound of our own breath. Each sound is an opportunity to return to the present moment and recognize Dharma at work. Similarly, take time to truly see the world around you. Notice the play of light and shadow, the infinite shades of green in the trees, or the subtle colors of the sky. These are not separate from your life. They are your life. They are the Buddha's body revealing itself to you. There's also non-duality in our practice. One of the key lessons in this fascicle is non-duality, the understanding that there is no separation between self and other, subject and object, practice and realization. When we truly hear the valley sounds, there is no listener apart from the sound. When we truly see mountain colors, there is no observer apart from the colors. This perspective can transform our practice. Instead of striving to attain some distant goal, we realize that awakening is already here in this very moment. The challenge is not to manufacture or create enlightenment, but to recognize it amidst the ordinary sounds and sights of our lives. So, valley sounds and mountain colors remind us that the Dharma is not something far away, something hidden. It is as close as the sound of the stream or the alarm clock, the color of the mountain or the inside of your dishwasher. By opening our hearts and minds to these everyday manifestations of Buddha's teaching, we can awaken to the profound truth of interconnection and non-duality. As we go home, fall asleep, wake up, get ready for the day, eat, move, listen, speak, I encourage you to carry Dogen's words with you. Listen deeply, see fully, do everything like it is the first time. Do everything like it is the last time. And remember that the valley sounds and mountain colors are not separate from the Buddha, from the Dharma, or from you. In this way, we can aspire to live our lives. And there's one more poem I would like to read for you. Together with all sentient beings, may I hear the true Dharma from this birth throughout future birth. When I hear the true Dharma, I will not doubt or distrust it. When I encounter the true Dharma, I will relinquish ordinary affairs and uphold the Buddha Dharma. Thus, may I realize the way together with the great earth and all sentient beings. And Dogen finishes, this vow is the ground for genuine aspiration. Do not slacken in this determination. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that maybe you found some words that might be helpful in your practice. And if that was not the case, please forget this talk and just return to what works for you. May our intentions equally extend to every being and place with the true merit of Buddha's way. Beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Buddha's way is unsurpassable. I vow to become it.